Happy Friday. Welcome to the Backpack Show. So, if you know me at all, which you might after all these years on the Backpack Show, you'll know that my secret fantasy job is to become a librarian. I mean, not like just any kind of librarian, like an occult librarian at a supernatural library situation. It's a long story. I read a lot of books myself that have weird settings like that. But anyway, you shut up over there. So, imagine how excited and delighted I was to visit Mount Juliet, Tennessee recently and see a book bike go by. I was like, what? It looks like a bicycle with like an ice cream thing in front of it, like a big cart, but it is not full of ice cream. It is full of books. And Sally Robertson, the biking librarian, goes around to parks in the Mount Juliet, Tennessee area and does story times for people. And I think it is amazing. So she spent 40 years as a librarian, retired, and then did this. And I just think it's phenomenal. So we have her on today, and I'm so excited.
Hi, everyone. Tim Kitzrow from NBA Jam and NFL Blitz, welcoming you to The Backpack Show. Your hosts, Chris Brogan, Kerry Gorgone, Boom Shakalaka.
Backpack Show.
Boom Shakalaka. Who did you look at today?
Oh, the NASCAR guy whose name I can't remember.
Ryan Priest. His name is Ryan Priest.
Dang, I don't know why I can't remember Ryan Priest's name. What a nice guy he was. Hey, look who's in the audience. My dad, Steve Brogan. By the way, when you were pitching this to me just a couple days ago, I thought you said a Viking librarian. And I was like, yes, fire and everything. But, Viking librarian's pretty darn cool, too. We got to bring Sally up on stage. Sally, welcome onto the show. Good to see you.
Hi. Thank you for inviting me. I'm quite honored, quite amazed.
Dude, so excited. Okay, so I have questions. I have a lot of questions. First of all, you've been on a bike for probably your whole life, right? And you worked as a librarian for 40 years. So when it's time to retire, you were like, you know what? I'm going to keep on doing the librarian thing and I'm going to marry it up with my bike riding. How did that happen?
I just have always been a bike rider. I love reading. I like writing. I've written a book now. It's not totally published, but it's to promote literacy or to promote small businesses in Mount Juliet. It's called the Jingles Christmas Story Ride with Rudolph the Rain Bike. So my bike is fixed up like a reindeer, and I go around. So it's a story ride around Mount Juliet, discovering small businesses and a bit of Mount Juliet history in there. It's a 19-mile bike ride around the city, and it goes a little bit in the county also. But anyway, I surround. So I did that, and I just I also worked with an organization called Ride for Reading. Unfortunately, died, but the guy who founded it was a teacher in Mount Juliet, and he his name is Matthew Portal, Matthew with one T. He's now a principal at a school in Nashville, Gillisville Elementary School. He calls himself the unapologetic disruptor for good. But him and I volunteered. He founded Ride for Reading was the name of the organization. It's gone now, so it's no longer a thing. But we would deliver books via bicycle to low-income schools. And the kids would get so excited. We'd ride up on bikes. We'd load up backpacks, speaking of backpacks and trailers with books. We'd ride in, meet maybe 4 or 5 miles from the school. We'd ride in, together in the group to the school. And the students got to pick out a book to take home for free. These were donated books by, some are new, some are used, some are, whatever. So that was kind of how I got going. Now, when I was working, I would take days off to do this. Now, of course, I'm retired. That kind of got me going, but I've always liked to bike. My mom, back in the day, she used to ride her bike a lot. She rode 50 miles with a girlfriend. Back in the day, she's now gone. She died in 2019, her day's 91. Good long life, but she did a big long bike ride, 50 miles. Back then, there was no McDonald's every corner, so she, had to take lunch, food. 25 miles, you'd eat lunch and then go on. So in other words, you couldn't just stop at the McDonald's on the corner and pick up whatever. So
your mom, was she a librarian also?
She was not. She went to college a couple of years. She dropped out, but she was going to be a teacher. She and Dad got married back then. You get married and you need to start a family, and so she never finished college. She was excited when I actually got my master's in library science. So was my dad, but she had some local ladies back in 1963. I grew up in Clarendon Hills, Illinois. She and some lady started the library in town. It was all volunteers. Um, so yeah,
So it's
so
kind of in your blood, like
she,
the importance of libraries and
yeah, she started this thing and kind of in my blood, yes. And then I became, and the whole thing was volunteer run. Finally, there was they hired a librarian that had a master's degree. The school, the city did. And they said, hey, what do you need to do to be a librarian? Because I like to read, like to write, and what can you do? It's hard to make a living as a writer. Well, Chris, I guess, is a writer, but but anyway,
that's different than making a living as a writer.
living, it's hard to make a living. Like I've written this book, I'll probably make zero money on it, but but anyway, so well, you got to go get a master's in library science. So, and as a high school student, it's like master's is a long ways off. So I looked into colleges. Belmont University down here in Nashville has. I got my undergrad degree there, and I'm minored in library science. But then I still couldn't be a librarian because they said no, you need a master's. So I went on, got a master's from Peabody, Vanderbilt. So, and yeah, so it's just sort
A
of
long road.
I like to ride bikes. And my dad he died like a little over a year ago, but he used to say, you're too old to ride a bike. I said, Dad, come on.
I have another question for you because,
go ahead.
again, having just visited Mount Juliet, I
Okay.
saw a couple of little free libraries, and one of them was in Robinson. I think it's Robinson Park. The one
Yes.
there's like a long park. Okay, was that you? Because I loved it. It was a little library that
This
said
is what I
this
maintain.
library has banned books.
Has banned books, yes. I maintain two. One that you saw, Robinson Park. That's for this group I'm in. Well, I maintain it, but there's a group. I never read the little sign, but it's PO International. It's an organization that we promote. Well, we motivate women to get a college education. It's a philanthropic educational organization. Yeah. So anyway, I maintain that one, and yeah, I do like promoting banned books because it's all a freedom to read. Books should not be banned. I don't care what they are. They should not be banned. It's up to the person. If you don't want to read a book, if you don't want your child to read a book, fine. But don't ban it for everyone else. So I'm big into banned books. And the other one I maintain is on Townsend and Greenway. That one doesn't have a sign about banned books yet. but so
but it's coming.
yeah.
We have a couple
Yeah.
questions that have come up from the audience. So Leslie says, I love everything about this. Leslie, by the way, works in a school system. I love everything about this. I've always loved taking my girls to the library, but also know that there's so many children who don't get the opportunities outside of the school day. That's, I assume, part of what got you into this process, right?
Yeah. Yes, yeah, because I'm actually a member of ABOS, which is the Association of Bookmobiles and Outreach Services. I've joined, right before I retired, and now after I'm continuing my membership in that group, because it's all about librarians getting together that have bookmobiles, which my book bike is a bookmobile. It's pedal powered. My bike is actually, it's got a battery, so it's pedal assist. Because books are heavy, the bike itself is fairly heavy. So it's a bookmobile to reach outside the library because some kids can't get to the library. So I can take the library to a park. It's easier to park a book bike than a big huge van.
One of those big riff trucks that they used to have in the 70s that we'd say.
Yeah, and there's less maintenance in a book bike. There's still maintenance on anything, but there's less maintenance on that than a big huge bookmobile that's gas powered and that kind of thing. So I'm a member of ABOS, and so it gets the library to the people, meets them where they are, like in the park. Oh, I didn't think like you need a library anymore because I've got Google. I go to Google for my questions.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about retirement, Sally, because this does not sound like retirement. A lot of people, they retire, they do some puzzles, they watch some TV, they relax. You spent like more than $5,000 outfitting yourself with this bike so that you could do what you're doing now and be the biking librarian. What motivated you to do that?
I guess it's my passion for literacy and being a librarian. Like I did retire from Nashville State Community College. I liked it there, but it was just seemed to be time to retire. I was 69 when I retired, and I'm 70. But it was just time. So what motivated me, I guess, is the fact that I like books and reading and literacy. Um, Promoting that with reading to children. I actually also want to get into. I'm trying to work on a grant, but there's a Mary Beth Reedner. She is also a retired librarian. They retired early because her husband was diagnosed with early young onset dementia, and I've actually applied for a grant. But to get into work with assisted living and dementia facilities, there's a couple, 2, 3 in Mount Juliet. Because there's like through ABOS, I just listened to this webinar about these couple cool resources, Nana's books, and there's a publication called Mirador. It's Mirador. Mirador is a magazine, but it's for people living with dementia and their families. And I just would like to kind of get in that market too, reach out to those people as well as children, so kind of both ends of the spectrum. So I guess just the fact, and a bike is good, sustainable. That's another thing, is that a bicycle is sustainable transportation. I'm also concerned about the environment, what's going on with climate change. Like here in, this is March the 6th. We've got like 80 degrees today. It should not be that hot yet. And, and this.
No, that did occur to me. I was visiting.
A lot of this, and what we're doing is with my bicycle. When I was working, I commuted by train and bike to my job, and so I leave my car at home unless I really need to drive. I do have a car. I do drive on occasion. People look at me. I didn't know you had a car. But anyway, so I try to be sustainable in my lifestyle. I walk, bike. Biking's just quicker than walking places. I like to walk. Hiking's great, but biking is a little faster than other. I bike pretty slow. My regular bike does not have a battery. My book bike does, but
So I have a question about the whole book bike thing, because in my head,
okay.
When you talked about, first off, if welcome to ADHD, because that is a lot of different pursuits you're into, Sally. But second off, when you were dragging books to kids, and it sounds like you largely are ministering, for lack of a better term, to kids with this project. My perspective is that if whatever a kid reads is a great read, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be the most. You're not taking 12 copies of Moby Dick around with you. What's the book? What's the one that lands kids to read, or what do you look for to fill in the bike, or do you just take what you get and they take what they get?
I don't know. A lot of times I like to take classics. One of my favorite ones to read is The Secret Garden. Now that's not like a picture book. The other one, like I just read, I did a Read Me Day. We're just finishing up Read Me Day, or Read Me Week, Read Across America, and on the Dr. Seuss. I read this Different Do for Day. Dr. Seuss is really fun, I think, to read aloud, because one thing you have to practice ahead of time, because so you make sure you don't mess up on his words, the Different Do for Day and Zing Zot, and he's made up words. But I like Dr. Seuss because he did make it fun to read for kids, as opposed to when I was young, growing up in the '60s. We learned on Dick and Jane series. The
Dick and Jane, yeah.
Yeah. See Spot. See, of course, Sally. I like, one of the people. The little sister was Sally. But that was sort of boring reading, as compared to like reading Dr. Seuss, which made reading fun. Just like the J.K. Rowling, who made reading fun for like the kind of like starting middle school on age up. When she came out with Harry Potter, that series, a lot of people say, well, that is a banned book also because witchcraft is bad.
Right, because it's totally real, and, people will start doing magic if we let them read that.
Yeah, but you got to remember this fiction. She made that up in her head. So it's not a true story. It's
what?
Fiction. So,
I've been misled, Sally. No. I thought I built my whole identity around the fact that I would be in Gryffindor, Actually, I took the quiz once. The quiz put me in Slytherin. I don't draw whatever conclusions you're going to draw. But it seems to me that for someone who is retired, you keep taking on more and more. So there's the book bike and story times for children, and now reading. You're interested in reading to folks with dementia and those organizations. And I am just like when do you slow down? Now, for some people, reading a book is slowing down, right? But this is not reading a book. This is reading a book for people, and you've got a bike to get there. So what's next for you?
Oh, next? I don't know. I want to just keep going, making it bigger and bigger and bigger, like in the different. No, that was actually in Lorax, my other favorite book, the Lorax. Speak for the Trees. I'm an environmentalist. That's also a banned book, the Lorax. But I just want to keep going because if you stop and just sit and do nothing, your muscles go away. And like that, I don't want to vegetate. I don't want to be some little lady who's just can't walk anymore and can't bike. My right leg does hurt, but I'm doing therapy. My bike is therapy, so I got to keep things moving. Otherwise, I'll end up just in a rocking chair, and I don't want to do that yet.
Yeah,
Like
you're keeping your options open for the future.
the
I
future, I
wanted to,
say, but my husband, he's kind of the opposite of me. But he's
there
actually
was
we're both retired. He's working part time, so like he would get bored. So I'm just fell over on my house. Never mind.
well, Jackie commented that there is a grant you can apply for called a Drop Dead Generous Grant. She
Huh.
says they would love this. It's exactly the kind of project they fund and publicize. She also, like me, is surprised to learn that Harry Potter is not in fact real. But I'll share the link with you. I found the website
Okay.
for the grant so you can apply. It's like $500, and this is the kind of project that they love.
Oh, well, cool. Thank you. Yeah, you listen. Thank you.
Also, it's hot in Mount Juliet, like you yourself were just pointing out. So,
Yeah,
what precautions are you taking to make sure that you don't like have heat stroke in front of a bunch of children at the park while you're reading?
I bring water in my book bike, and actually in the summertime I have an umbrella that attaches to when I'm stopped, not when I'm riding, but when I strap it to the top of the box, um, that provides a little shade around the book bike. And I will try and find like if I'm in a park, like a shade tree that's set up underneath a tree. That's another thing about the book bike. At least you're out in the fresh air. When you're inside like a bookmobile that's enclosed like a big camper kind of van thing. Well, not a camper, but the big metal boxes. They get hot. Of course, they have generators and they have air conditioning in there, but they can get hot and stuffy in the summer. Um, like I said, they do have air conditioning, but again, that uses fuel, which pollutes the atmosphere, which I'm trying to be more sustainable. So, does that answer your
I was
question?
just reading the comment from Brogan's dad, who says that seeing words on the page is magic. And as a preteen, I devoured all the sci fi in the children's section. Thankfully, my librarian allowed me the books up to explore the books downstairs in the adult section. Like, look at him breaking the rules. I don't know where you got that from, Brogan. I really don't. And then another comment, Grandma Gatewoods walkabout, old in her 60s, hiked the Appalachian Trail 3 times.
Oh yeah, yeah, I've heard about her. Yeah. So I'm beyond that, but I just want to keep moving like forever and just. My mom was that way up until the very end. She actually got colon cancer at the very end of her life, but she really wasn't sick. We didn't do chemo because she was like 90, and when she was diagnosed. So, but my point is that she kept moving. She lived in a retirement. They lived in a retirement community, had a trail around the lake, and she got and walked every day. My dad not quite as much. He did some hiking. He was a Boy Scout, Eagle Scout, but my mom kept moving. She used a walker towards the end of her life. Like a lot of old people, it's kind of a standard piece of equipment when you get older. I don't use a walker yet. I did when I got hit by a car. Another story there, but
Oh my gosh. And
I've been,
you recover, you get up, you get yourself a book bike, and you get back out there. I mean,
I got hit by a car. I have my legs been broken by cars. I had my pelvis busted by
oh my
cars.
gosh,
My commute home. I recovered,
girl.
and I should give up biking, but I'm a big advocate to this day, though, for the bicycle is transportation. And there's a Ride of Silence coming up in May that I help out with in Mount Juliet, and that's all about bringing awareness to drivers to like, hey, pay attention to pedestrians and especially bikes on the road, sharing the road, and don't.
Isn't that sad? You have to have a whole campaign to be like, guess what? Other people also like to go places.
Share the
And
road, folks, and get
yeah,
off your phones, get off your cell phones, and just drive.
Kate asks, did I miss some of your favorite stories of being a librarian? I don't think so. I don't think we've talked about them. What are some of your favorite stories from your 40 years as a librarian, or even your more recent times as the biking librarian?
The biking librarian. I don't know. Some of my favorite stories are like just connecting with people in the library. Like when I was at Nashville State, connecting with students, they would come in and ask questions. It was just fun, I guess, helping them find resources, not using Google, like when they come in and work on a research paper, and showing them how to use, say, our library databases, or this other site I'd like to promote. It's on my book by called Merlot, MERLOT.org. It's a, not a wine.org. It's a, like, Google for education. But getting students to, like, see the light, like, oh, there's other sources besides Google to find good information. Merlot .org is where you can find open courses, tutorials, animations. If you join, you can use Content Builder to build content. I tell students you can use this Content Builder, create like a neat portfolio. So you're in school, you can put things you've done in school. So when you come out, you'll have like an online resume, to the link to send out to prospective employers or whatever, that kind of thing. So that's one of my, I guess, favorite stories. Just connecting with students. Most recently, I don't know, I like working with children because it's just fun seeing their faces light up, and when you read the story to them. Like when I read to this first grade class in Nashville, an elementary school in Nashville. It was so cool. They're all listening to me. It's like, oh, and then they made me this little card saying thank you. They all signed their names. I read the different for story to them at Dr. Seuss because it's Dr. Seuss. We're coming off of Dr. Seuss Read Across America week. So it's just fun really seeing the youth of America, their faces light up. And even like college students, I liked working with them just because they're like Merlot, they're the future of things like Merlot. If I don't tell people about Merlot.org, they may not use it, but they might like it. And then they can create something using, say, Content Builder or some other content builder. It's just an HTML web page builder, but they can create something and add it to Merlot. And then for future, like some of the college students I worked with might discover a cure for COVID or a cure for whatever. They can put their research into Merlot and share that with the world, because Merlot is international. Because the other thing I promote in Tennessee is the Tennessee Electronic Library, which is a statewide electronic library that anyone in the state of Tennessee has access to databases, workbook, encyclopedias in there, genealogy information. There's a transparent language, which is you can go learn a language. Only Tennesseans can get to this stuff. But anyway, so I promote my three favorite websites as PO International and Tintel, TNTEL.info, and then MERLOT.org. Those are my three favorite websites, which are on my book bike. And yeah, I just think Merlot stands for Multimedia Educational Resource for Learning and Online Teaching. It's started in California, hence the wine theme to it. Or the
Very clever. They like their wine in Nashville too, Sally.
Oh, there's wine in Nashville, but it started out there, and there's a big wine country out there. So I've tried Merlot wine. It's not my thing. I'm not really a wine drinker. I wanted to see what it likes so that promotes. I've got Merlot.
Kate asks, how may we help you help others?
I don't know. Somehow get the Wilson County Library Board to get on my page because that's local, but promote my stuff, I guess, my book bike as being a good thing and not a bad thing. I'm a bit frustrated with even our local city government in Mount Juliet because I love Mount Juliet. It's a great city.
Spilling the tea.
I just when I yeah, I'm a little frustrated. Like I can't get the local public information officer to like do anything promoting my book bike. I don't know why because he's public information. That's his job is promoting stuff for the public. But so I'm having trouble with that. Like I said, I love Mount Juliet. I don't want to say anything bad about Mount Juliet. It's a good little city. It's great because they're building more greenways. It's all good. It's a good city. So I'm not knocking the city. I'm just kind of frustrated with most of the public library, the county library board, not Mount Juliet Public, but the library board, who the public library can't do anything without their permission. There's 3 libraries in Wilson County. There's one in Watertown, Lebanon, and Mount Juliet. I mostly want to work the most of Mount Juliet since that's where I live right now. It's easiest to get around. I can't ride my book bike to Watertown because of safety. It's not really safe enough to ride some of these roads in the
So
county.
are we hearing correctly, Sally, that you've retired to become a rogue librarian?
A rogue, yeah. A rogue, you're right. Yeah. That's right, yeah.
Well, as we are getting ready to wind up this show, I have to do a couple of official things. One is I never did do our sponsors at any point during this good conversation. One of our sponsors is Chloe Forbes Kinlan, who, if you want to get much better organized to make your business run better, I can tell you firsthand, I have run the experience multiple times in a row the last 2 months of people not doing this well and using Notion poorly. Chloe Forbes Kinlan. You can go to businessops.co/backpack to get a free starter kit. Also, Fazia Burke. Fazia has been a book publishing promoter for quite a long time, has worked with some really interesting people like Jesse Eisenberg's dad and very many other guests on the Backpack Show. Also now has a really cool Substack thingy that I am going to have to find really quick. FaziaBurke.substack.com, and you can come and learn about AI something or other because it's so cool. All right, now we've come to this part of the show.
Oh, and here's our person of the day. Kaboom!
Well, I think on volume alone, we could give it to Jackie, which means that, Jackie, you are entitled to 1 free apple. You just have to run into any store you want, steal the apple, run out real quick before anyone actually notices. Eat it. You don't even have to clean it. It's perfectly good. You're safe.
Wash it first.
See, you always thwart me on that one. All right. So we have come to the part of the show that we ask absolutely every single person who's ever been on this show, from Sir Mix-a-Lot down to an incredible burlesque performer, which is what we put in the backpack. Kerry, what's an example of something physical, for instance, someone would add to our backpack?
DJ Cumberbund, who is like a musician on YouTube, said an extra set of teeth because you just never know.
And how about something metaphorical? If you wanted to add something metaphorical, what would that look like?
Well, the Oral Knots, who are YouTubers, actually took something out of the backpack. They said if you have to take ego out of the backpack, leave it on the curb, and keep going if you want to succeed in your collaborative project.
That makes
So, Sally Robertson, you've put so much in this backpack already with Merlot.org and and PPPO or whatever, all those other cool URLs. What should you add to the backpack today before you head out on your bike?
What's something physical like adds in my backpack would be like towels, because you can never have too many towels to put in, like if it's in my book bike, clean up messes or just do whatever. And then something metaphorical would probably be passion, because I definitely have a passion for what I'm as a librarian, for what I'm doing. So you'd have to have passion. And I'm always telling students to try and find a career that you're passionate about, and then do it, because you never work a day in your life. I always loved Mondays, even when I was working, like going to my job every day, because I love being a librarian. I love helping students. So passion, I think, is my bed and the towels. You can never have too many towels to clean up messes or spills or whatever. So.
Well, Douglas Adams would absolutely agree with that concept of towels, because that was in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, fine book to keep on your bicycle.
Yeah.
I will say that, it's interesting. My dad told a story that's very similar to my childhood, which is where the library where he and I both went to at different times in our life, there was a thing where you would graduate from the children's section to the grown-up section of the library, and so that was actually fun. But what you didn't know is there was sort of a secret, dark, ancient ritual to get in, and the weirdest part of that ritual